Welcome to the Q1 Buck Poll. I'm Tim Hart with Mike Big Buck Hoffner. Well, this week on the Q1 Buck Poll, we've got Lieutenant Craig Gray from the DNR. He's going to talk about private land, and he's going to talk about trespassing.
The new trespassers clubs are being formed.
Yeah, don't be in the club. That's
Exactly.
the deal. We also are going to talk to Kevin Target from Camel Creek Hydrographics. We're going to talk about the dipping process that they have. Also, Ted Harpum from Dart and Archery. I caught up with both those guys at the Woods and Water Outdoor Weekend up in Imlay City.
Yeah, both pretty cool concepts. I mean, who would ever thought, 5, 10, 20 years ago that you'd be able to dip a skull and do a mount on it. And at the same time, we want to thank Darton. We've got a chance to use their crossbows. I've got mine dialed in and throwing darts.
You got that dialed in, Big Buck Hoffner. Look out, dear, here he comes. Tony the Pratt's going to be with us. He's going to talk about tree stands. And Mike, we want to encourage everybody, get your deer registered so we can show your bucks right here on the Q1 Buck Poll. You can register at any location, or you can also download the form online.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my trail cams are out. I'm seeing tons of deer. I got an inkling it's going to be a great season.
And he's dialed in.
Exactly.
Dialed in. You got it. Stay with us. We got all that coming up right here on the Q1 Buck Poll. Firekeepers Casino and Hotel present the Q1 Buck Poll. One of the biggest problems that the DNR encounters, and that is trespassing. Mike, it's, there's nothing more frustrating when you go out to your land and somebody's been out there, or they're still out there, and they're in your tree, or they're by your tree stand, and it just creates all kinds of havoc out there.
Even for landowners, we have a lot of landowners that lease their land to hunters. And I'll tell you what, it becomes very controversial when someone's hunting that land that you're leasing. Now you've got the landowner in the middle of some of those arguments. So we've got to clean up that activity. All
right, Lieutenant Craig Gray is with us from the DNR. He's going to talk about not joining the club. Welcome back to the Q1 Buck Poll. Tim Hart now talking with Lieutenant Craig Gray from the DNR. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about trespassing right now, and it seems to be a problem out there, and I mean not just in one area, but throughout the state of Michigan. You've got your land, you want to go out there and hunt, and somebody is out there trespassing and poaching. Talk to me about that issue and the problem out there.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating for landowners, and it happens across the state. Trespass Hunt Club, I like to call it. It's the cheapest hunting club that you can belong to. Until you get caught, until you get prosecuted, you don't pay any dues. Well, yeah. The landowner is paying for taxes, paying for food plots, whatever, all year long.
Mm-hmm. How prevalent of a problem is it out there?
It's pretty significant, especially if it's your land. It's very significant.
And when you talk about that, I mean, do you get a lot of phone calls into the rap room? Are you getting, I know at, one of our events, our final prize party last year, you had all kinds of people asking you about, what can I do with trespassers on my land?
At your Big Buck Night, we had probably a dozen landowners that talked to us about trespass and how to prosecute trespassers.
What are some of the tips that you can give me about information I need to give to the DNR? How do I call you? Those sort of things.
Well, it all starts when you start observing some things out of place. You may see somebody on your trail cameras. Be a good witness. Number one, to start with, for us to successfully prosecute a trespass case, we're going to have the landowner as a witness, as a complaining witness. Your property is going to have to be fenced. It's going to have to, or posted, or it's going to have to be part of a farm plot. Mm-hmm. Posting, the law has specific requirements for posting the signs. From any point of entry, you've got to be able to observe a sign. The sign's got to be 50 square inches in size, and the letters of the sign have to be at least an inch high, the no trespassing sign.
So ideally, let's say you have a square plot, you'd put something on each kind of quadrant, so as people are trying to come into your land, it is posted and you can prove that I've got no trespassing here.
That's right. Any point of entry on all the sides. So even the neighbor that you get along with, you got to post his side too.
Let's talk about some of the fines. I don't think people realize that it is very costly. to trespass?
Well, for a first offense, it's a 90-day misdemeanor, which is a criminal offense. It's a $100 to $500 fine, and the person can pay damages if there's damages to a fence or to signs or a gate on the private property. And if they shoot a deer, they have to pay reimbursement to the state for that deer or whatever game they've taken. A deer's $1,000, so it adds up pretty quick. In addition to that, the landowner, through a civil action, can get up to $250 penalty from that suspect or that lawbreaker and the cost of your attorney. So after we prosecute them criminally in the courts, the transcript from that court case can be used in the civil case against the person, and it's pretty much a done deal there.
Now, is there any, let's say somebody goes through, they've got one infraction. I mean, if they get a second or third infraction, can that poacher, trespasser get their hunting rights taken away, or how can that work?
Yes, the court can order that, and the fines go up as you are a repeat offender and as you're charged and convicted in subsequent cases. So it does go up.
All right, so I've got somebody that I know is trespassing. What do I do? Who do I call? What is the phone number? Where do I go?
Well, be a star witness for us, and that means get a good physical description of the person, more than just their vehicle or what type of clothing, but we need to know who it is. And you may not know, but everybody's got a cell phone. Most of them have cameras on them. Get a picture of their face. Many times we're able to then, with a license plate, track them down to who it is, and we can go from there. So get a picture, document it, and immediately call our RAP line.
Tell me real quick about the RAP line so people understand what that is.
Okay, the RAP line is a 24-hour dispatch center where our conservation officers across the state are dispatched, and citizens can call in complaints, and they're assigned to the closest or most appropriate officer, so we can timely get out and answer these complaints. And we need to timely answer these trespass complaints.
Exactly.
Get them called
right.
in, and officers respond to them.
And we talk about the RAP line. It's the Report All Poaching. And here on the Buckpole, we'll have that up. We have that on our website because we're firm believers that, you know, it's your land, go out and hunt, because it's also a safety issue. If you got somebody else in your land and you're going out there to hunt and they've got a gun, you know, they see movement. Sometimes that's not obviously the ideal situation.
Yep, most people take quite a bit of precautions when they're hunting on their land, knowing where the other hunters are located and what their safe zones of fire are, and that's a good point.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
You know, great information each and every week with the DNR, and if you'd like more information about, you know, trespassing, how to report somebody, they've got the RAP hotline. Mike, they're making it very easy to make sure that nobody gets on your land.
Yeah, well, I like what they've done. I think it's a great concept, and I'll tell you what, you know, hunting has become a really interesting art out there, and people, you know, are really into the art of hunting, and they want to protect what they have.
Report All Poachers. The hotline's out there. Call it if you see somebody trespassing on your land. Coming up, we're going to talk to Kevin Target at Camel Creek. We're also going to talk to Ted Harpham about some of the crossbows out from Darton, so stay with us. You're watching the Q1 Buckpole. Woods and Water Outdoor News, one of the top publications in the state of Michigan, always providing great information. Well, each and every year they have a couple of shows, the Woods and Water Outdoor Weekend. One of them this year was in Imlay City, the other in Kalamazoo. I caught up with some of our sponsors in Imlay City, including Kevin Target from Camel Creek Hydrographics.
And I happen to have a copy of the product, Dipping the Skull, and I thought, you know, who would have ever thought, like I said before, you know, several years ago, that you'd be able to do something like that. Actually, an awesome piece of artwork.
And you can dip more than skulls. Here's my interview with Kevin Target. I've got Kevin Target with us, one of our sponsors on the Q1 Buckpole, and you're dipping all kinds of things. We've talked before, Kevin. I've seen the process, but it looks like you got all new products out here today.
Absolutely, Tim. We've really moved up with everything here. We've moved down. We got our federal firearms license now. We're dipping firearms. They had a little change in the law, so I had to delay us on the process there a little bit. We're back up and running with those. We got a lot of new patterns out. This is one just came out about 3 weeks ago. We just got our hands on it for Oneida. We're trying it on a couple bows for them just to see how they like it.
Now, can you dip this pattern on anything then?
Anything. Mailboxes. We're putting it on just about everything. Right? Spittoons.
I see that. I was looking down there, I'm like, a spittoon? Holy cow.
But yeah, we're putting on everything now. We're going to try a skull next week, actually. We were hoping to have one ready for the show here. We were thinking about this one, but we didn't have time to put it on him. So
I was going to say, you look at that skull right back there. That's a dandy.
That's a dandy. That's actually roadkill. Had a friend of mine picks up roadkill for a living here in the state of Michigan, and found that one. I can't tell you where, but we got it. So we just got it back from the freeze dry. We preserved the velvet, and so let's put it on a replica skull and use it for a showpiece. We'll go from there.
Well, I tell you what, you've had all kinds of people talking to you. The interest, I don't think, could be higher in having things dipped. The patterns wear well. It's just a great deal.
It is. We're putting, things just keep broadening here. We're doing race car parts for some of these guys, and we're wearing about 100 hats right now. We're doing a dip and everything.
Dipping everything at Camo Creek Hydrographics. Kevin Target, man, thanks for being with us.
Pleasure, Tim.
Another one of our sponsors this year is Dart Archery, and we are giving away some great looking crossbows. I had a chance to talk to Ted Harpham, and he told me about some of the features. And again, we've got a lot of these that were given away at random, so you just have to register a buck or a doe in the contest.
Tell you what, it's actually helped to get more hunters out in the field. A lot of my friends who are getting older like me can no longer draw those bows. You've got those shoulder surgeries you've had to deal with. It's helped bring people back into the woods with the old crossbow.
Register today in the Q1 Buck Poll, and you have a chance to win the Darton Terminator. Ted Harpham is with us from Darton. Ted, tell us about the crossbow we're giving away.
Tim, this is a great package we've got for the Q1 Buck Poll this year. This is a Darton Terminator package. It's got the 4x32 scope. It's going to have the string suppressant on it. It's going to have the barrel suppressant on it. It's got a quiver. It's got a rope cocker. This bow shoots 340 feet per second. It's an awesome package. It only weighs 6.5 pounds.
It's light. It's something you want to take out in the woods, but the only way you can do it, well, you could buy it from Ted, or you can register in the Q1 Buck Poll today. Well, we got some great sponsors this year. Remember, you just have to enter your buck or doe at any of the locations that we have across the state, or you could go online and download the form and then email and fax us the information.
We can't make it any simpler. Just register.
All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking to Tony LaPrade. He's going to be talking about tree stands. You're watching the Q1 Buck Poll. Back here on the Q1 Buck Poll, and again, we tell you to get registered in the Q1 Buck Poll at any of the locations across the state, because we have some great prizes like this CVA 50 caliber muzzle loader. We've got all kinds of other prizes, and the final prize is the Yamaha Grizzly 350 ATV. And all you have to do is register a buck or a doe, and you know, big buck, here's some big bucks from last year.
Okay, let's go to our last three from last year. In region number 3, the South Mid-Michigan region, was Jamie McGibbon's 16-pointer. The score was 59.25 from Parma, Michigan. Then we had Anthony Green from the Southwest Mid-region. He brought in an 11-pointer. The score was 54, and he was from Ceresco. And then finally, from Branch County, the South Central region, a friend of ours from Branch County, number 1, Todd Riley, brings in a 12-pointer, again from our native town of Coldwater, Michigan.
Well, it was awesome. We had a chance to interview him last year, too. Well, now it's time to talk about apples and what a bountiful crop that we've had this year. And, you know, last year we had, you know, they started blossoming, then we had the cold, and that kind of killed them off. Not so this year.
Now, I'll tell you what, it's been a banner year. We do some things at the Branch Area Career Center because we have an agriculture program. And I'll tell you what, as those people came in from Anderson's and Rank Seed, you name where they came from, they said it's been just a spectacular year here in Michigan.
Here's our tip of the week, talking apples. Tony LaPrade from Ultimate Land Management and the Whitetail Boot Camp.
All you hunters have a great opportunity this year. We have a very unique situation. Guys, I travel all over the country and walked over 1,000 properties. Last year, you could not find an apple in the country. This year, the apple crop is just loaded. No matter where you go, the trees are hanging down like grapes and they're breaking off branches. And deer love apples. And last year, they couldn't find an apple. These bucks and deer are gonna move in hard on these apples. It's gonna be a great early season tactic to move into these apple trees and set up your stands. Now guys, don't forget that these apples are going to be good early, but they're also a great late season, and people don't realize that if these apples drop too soon when it was hot out, they'll turn brown and they'll flatten right out, and you'll think that nothing wants that no more. Well, when it's cold out and it's freezing late November and December, the deer come back and paw them up, and they love them and they eat them. So guys, it's going to be an early tactic. In October, it's all going to be good, and then around December, you're going to want to keep an eye on these apple trees. It will be a big part of my hunting tactics this year. Now, don't forget, not only is this going to be a great food source, it's also going to occupy the buck's time. And what I mean by that, you're going to find lots of scrapes underneath apple trees. It's one of their favorite trees to scrape. And when the does come to eat, the buck wants to leave a calling card. So you're going to find lots of scrapes, lots of rubs, and a lot of buck activity around these apple trees this hunting season. And I'm Tony LaPratte, and that's your tip of the week for the Q1 Buck Poll.
What a great tip of the week this week, talking about apples. And you know, most people think that when they hit the ground and the deer don't get them right away, well, they're done with them. But not so.
No, not really. I'll tell you what, I've been by your house and you have an apple tree right next to your house. Yes. A lot of land. I'll tell you what, anytime I come by, there's deer underneath that tree.
Exactly. Well, we want to remind you to get your deer registered this year. Bucks and does both can be registered. We have all kinds of regional prize parties in January. We count the number of points on each side, the inside spread, the mass around the base of each side, and then the longest time. So it's a quick, simple scoring method. And Mike, we got CVA muzzleloaders, we got dart and crossbows. What do you got there?
I have the safety tree harness, man. Don't forget to wear this when you're up in the tree. It will save your life.
And the biggest prize where anybody can win, you just have to be entered in the contest, and that's that Yamaha Grizzly 350 ATV. That's going to be given away at the Firekeepers Casino, and that'll be in March. We'll talk about that date more as we finalize a few things, but I will tell you this. You just have to be there, and you could be driving away in that ATV from Custom Connection Motorsports in Battle Creek.
I'll tell you what, Tim, it is going to be a great year. We're going to have fun this year. We're going to a new location. I'm excited.
And Big Buck and I are going to hit the woods a lot this year, and I've got a number of other people that said, come on, Tim, I'll shoot the Big Buck. You can videotape it, so I'm all about that. All right, for Big Buck Hoffner, I'm Tim Hart. Thanks for being with us this week on the Q1 Buck Poll. Remember, whenever you're out in the woods, be safe.
He's got all this stuff and he never uses it. Look, he's still got his tag on there. Jeez,
it's a prop.
You know, this guy's got a lot of work to do on it.
Yeah.
Remember, bloopers? He's it.
Big Buck Hoffner.
He's your man.
Big Buck Hoffner. Words of wisdom. How about that?